This is problem number 4, so in order to remind us what we're doing, I'm going to write that up here in the corner. Maybe. All right. So here we go. There's number 4. So the first one that we're going to start here is with A. I may only do a couple of these at a time. So A says we have 5/7 and we need to divide that by 5 1/4. To divide fractions, we need improper if we have mixed numbers. So I need to first of all deal with changing 5 1/4 to an improper fraction. So that means that I need to multiply the denominator times the whole number and add in the numerator. So that's going to be 5 times 4 and then plus 1. And then when I'm done, I put it over the original denominator. So that's 20 plus 1, or 21/4. And that's my improper fraction from the mixed number 5 1/4. Now, to divide fractions, I multiply the first number, called the dividend, by the reciprocal of the second number, the divisor. The reciprocal just flips the fraction over. So 4/21. And then I can look for some canceling. Canceling is just dividing out common factors. So if I have something in the numerator and something in the denominator that has a common factor, I could divide those out. But 5 and 21, 5 and 7, 4 and 21, or 4 and 7, there are no common factors. So I'm going to simply just multiply. To multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators straight across the top. So 5 times 4 is 20. And then we multiply the denominators straight across the bottom. And 7 times 21, we have 147. Now, there were no common factors here before, so there won't be common factors here, but you could just briefly kind of check through here, right? There's 20, which is divisible by 2 and 5. Well, 2 doesn't go in here, and neither does 5, because it doesn't end in something that's even, nor does it end in something that's a 5 or a 0. So that's not going to be able to be reduced by anything that's in the numerator. So that will be our final answer, 20/147. Now moving on to part B. In part B we have a multiplication, so we have 3/5 and we're multiplying that by 5 2/5. So again we have to have an improper fraction. So 5 2/5, we are going to again multiply the denominator times the whole number and add in the numerator. So 5 times 5 and then add in 2. And you put it over the original denominator. So 25 plus 2, and then you put it over 5. So that's 27/5. Now there's nothing else to do there. That's all we need to do. There's no flipping or anything. This is multiplication. Just like we did before, you multiply straight across the numerators and straight across the denominators. Now because we were doing subtraction or addition in the last problem, our brain sometimes will get a little freaky on us and it'll see these two denominators down here and it'll want to put over here the common denominator. But we have to remember this is multiplication and that's not going to be appropriate. So we are going to multiply 3 times 27, so 3 times 7 is 21, and then I carry the 2, and 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 more is 8, and then 5 times 5, that's 25. Now, this one is an improper fraction. The numerator is larger than the denominator, so we need to change this back to a mixed number per the instructions. So 25 goes into 81 3 times, right? So 81 subtract 3 times 25 is 75. So that's going to give us 11 minus 5, which is 6. And so that's 6 left over, and then the original denominator, 25. Now as we do this, we notice that this won't reduce any, and so we know we're finished at that point in time, and we can go ahead and say that's our final answer. So now Moving over here to the last one, we have 7 and 1/12, and 7 and 1/12 plus 9 and 1/3. So again, we are going to have to build some higher terms, but this one's pretty easy. Now the reason that I say that this one's pretty easy, and you may be thinking, yeah, right, but the reason that this one is pretty easy is because on this one, 3 is a factor of 12. So that makes it really nice to find the least common denominator because 12 is the least common denominator. When one number is a factor of another, it's the larger number that's the least common denominator. So I do nothing to build the higher term for 1/12. And then 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. So 4 times 1 is going to give me 4. So there's my higher term. So 1 plus 4 is 5, and those are 5/12. And then 7 plus 9 is 16. And so instead of changing these, as you may have seen in past classes, to improper fractions and adding the improper fractions and all the work that goes along with that, you can simply add these as mixed numbers, as I exhibited in some of the videos before. So our final answer is 16 and 5/12. I'm going to stop for now because I think that that's enough, and we'll do the second half of this question in another video.